Your business name. You have to tell us the meaning, and you have to start with the pronunciation first.
Elle means she.
Okay.
In French.
Okay.
And then couture.
Okay.
Is fashion also in French.
Okay.
So Elle Esther Couture. I coined it from my name.
Okay.
Yes. It's just like saying she's Esther.
Okay.
Fashion. You get.
Okay. So how did you get started in the fashion industry? Because I've seen a lot of the dresses you make, a lot of creative designs you've made for people. Really, it's so creative. So how did you get started in the fashion industry?
Way back when I was in secondary school, I started designing, like sketching, being creative about what I want and things like that.
Yeah.
But then, of course, I was in secondary school now. So most of the tailors I gave them to were not able to pull it off
the way you want it.
It was like murder, like when you murder something. So I used to be very angry about that. But then I've always had an affinity for fashion since I was very little, because my mom was a tailor, and she used to make ready-to-wear for kids. Yes, she used to make ready-to-wear for kids. So I used to mess up with a lot of her stuff, and she used to beat me. But anyhow, I think that was where I really got my passion for it from. When I was also in the university, I just knew that I couldn't do a behind the desk job. Yes, I was more of a creative than an office person. So during my IT 400 level, I was like, I'm wasting away. Then I also wanted to create jobs for people, like create a place, like a place of solace for people to just go to, mingle with other young ones and learn something.
So then when you started, what are the process you went through to start your business, and what are the challenges you came across?
Of course, you know that before any business starts, you have to go and learn about it.
Yes.
And just like empower yourself to be able to do what you actually want to do. So when I was in my final year in 500 level, I looked around my area. I live in Songo. I looked around and I was like, there's really nobody that I could look up to as a fashion. And I had already browsed for fashion institutions where I could learn in Lagos since I was living in Songo. But they were so expensive. Even my school fees is not as expensive as that. So I couldn't even tell my parents that I want to go to fashion school. I'm not sure my dad would have even listened to me because we were much in school. So I was just like, okay, so where else can I get what I want? Maybe a very cheaper. So I went back to school. I searched around and I found somewhere that was able to offer me what I wanted at that moment in time, both male and female wears and all that. So that's how I learned. By the time I was done, of course, after like a month or two, school resumed. I didn't have time, but when I was waiting to go for service, I had to be going back and to help out at the shop and all that. That was how I started improving my skill. Then by the time I was serving, I was posted to Adegbuyi here. Yes. So in the family house, NCCL family house, I went back to Songo. I carried my mom's machine. The machine is as old as me, so and it had been at home for like ages and ages. I just told myself, this is what I want to do. So let's just go headlong and start. Because really, anything worth doing, you just have to start. Any idea God gives you, you just have to start. Because if you don't start, then the next step for you to take might not really open up. So I was making clothes for people in family house. I was teaching in a school, of course, school now. Primary school, you close early and you get home. And as a copper, you have days of CDS, you have days of clearance. All those days are like free days for you to just work and all that. And since I closed early from the school I was teaching, it was easy for me. So I was collecting jobs on people. That was how the business parts of it started. So I was making clothes for coppers. I was making clothes for some of the teachers in our school. I was doing all I could do. And I was saving up because I knew I wasn't going back to. Then I rented a place at Praise Chapel, Molepa. It was a room and parlor. So I was using the sitting room as my workspace, and I was using the room as room. So that was how it started. Officially was when I registered the business. And that was, I think, January 2016.
What school did you graduate from?
Oh, I attended Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. Ogbomoso, Oyo State. I finished from accounting.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure you people will be wondering,
accounting, fashion,
accounting, tech, accounting. Well, that's how we find Nigeria.
And your parents saw your determination to do this business and all that. I guess there were support from them and all that.
Well, support, verbal support, yes.
Okay.
Encouragement, yes. Financial support, unlimited. Parents are the people that love you like the most, so they always look out for the best thing for you.
Yes, exactly.
And of course, it takes a while for people to really discover themselves. But I'm a very deep thinker. I think that's part of the things that helped me come to those conclusions that I made when I was in the university. Very deep thinker. So sometimes I could just sit down and I've seen into like maybe 10 years or 15 years. Okay, where do I want to be? You get? So it's good to evaluate yourself and know the type of person you are. I already knew I'm not a book person. No masters, nothing. I would prefer to do like professional courses and whatever. But okay, I'm going back to, because the fact of the matter is that Nigerian educational system doesn't encourage you to want to know, because our system is more of a cramming system than a learning system. So I prefer to have like hone a skill and then develop on that skill.
So out of all the places in Nigeria this day, you chose Ijebu-Ode to stay. Why?
The major reason is that when I was leaving school, there's something I always pray about when I'm moving into a new phase. I'm a believer, yes, and the leading of the Spirit is very important to me. So when I was leaving home, I was telling God, order my steps, in camp. So by the time we were leaving camp, I did not know anywhere. By the time I saw my PP, my place of primary assignment and all that, it was Ijebu-Ode. I've never been to Ijebu, even though I was living in Ogun State for like 7 years. It was from home straight to school, school back home. So we never even passed Ijebu before. We always passed Papa, Abeokuta and all that. So I'd never been to Ijebu-Ode. So when I saw Ijebu-Ode, my dad was like, give me your number. Don't stress yourself. See, wherever God has taken me is where I'm going. And this is the next place for me, because I've prayed and I've believed that God has ordered my steps. So by the time I got to Ijebu-Ode, it was just the place for me. Before I finished service, I was asking God, okay, what do I do? Okay, this is the business I've chosen for myself, or you have led me to really. The Holy Spirit asked me to stay. And that was why I decided to stay. Of course, you can't be explaining that to your parents sometimes, because they will not even understand. My kind of person, I'm not like, I'm not very active and all that. So somewhere like Lagos, somewhere like Songo, I can't live there. No, because really, I don't think I can cope. I don't know how Lagosians do it, but I respect them a lot, because I don't know how to cope with places that are too busy, they are too choked, that people are just all about, as in you can't even relax. You can't even relax and greet the person living beside your house. Those type of things. So I already knew that I couldn't live that type of lifestyle. I'm the calm kind of person, and I like quiet places where I can think, I can create, I can, envision things and try and see how I can bring them to life and all that. Yes. So I think that was part of the reasons why I chose Ijebu-Ode. I think I've been able to influence people, encourage them to be the better versions of themselves and things like that. I've taught people, and some of them have opened their own shops today, and some of them are now doing good. Of course, everybody keeps learning, because even me myself, I still have to do upgrading classes online and all that, since I can't go to an on-site place, since I have my own business. So I register for stuff online and all that. But really, we are meant to influence. Okay, so what is your vision? What is God telling you to do? Do it with boldness. Don't look at whatever anybody is saying. Really, just go to follow the leading.
So how do you combine Christianity and fashion together like that?
All right. So being a Christian is not when you're in church. It affects every other aspect of your life, because you are first a believer before you are any other thing. That's, of course, when you've given your life to Christ. So generally, I would say that my clientele base are not people who like those things.
Okay.
So I think I'm lucky. So, and then I'm mostly into like office wears or natives that look like English wears and things like that. So people already know my niche. So if they want to do clothes that expose and all that, they know where to go to. If they want to do office wears, pant trousers, blazers, shirts, skirts, like normal, like daily wear that you can wear out. I would say start from wherever you can. So I started with borrowing machine.
Okay.
I would beg my friends that were living downstairs in my hostel, which time are you going to be using your machine, so that I can, until I now you started with mine, and mine was Dash. So you can start anywhere. Once you have an idea, you don't need so much money to start. And that's part of the limiting factors for a lot of people. They want money. You think that this place will fall in your laps. No, unless maybe you have parents that are very well to do or all those things. So if you have that, why not? They are free to go. But if you are from a family where your parents have plenty mouths to feed, plenty school fees to pay, and you're looking at it that you're trying to be considerate and all that, so just start anywhere. Start as small as possible. If it's that you need to save, start saving now.
If you have the opportunity to change anything about this country, then what will it be?
Leadership.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us here, and I really enjoyed every part of this interview section. We'll be dropping a link to our business and Instagram page in the description box, where you can find it and go to our page and see some of our creative works and all that. Guys, that'll be all for today, and we really enjoyed every part of today's section with Mrs. Adegbuyi. And so I won't be telling you who the next person will be, but just look out for the next person. So please remember to subscribe, like, and drop a suggestion in the comment section down below. Please don't forget. Just do it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.